If you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz, and I'm here today to review the 2019 comedy Booksmart, starring Kaitlyn and Beanie Feldstein, directed by Olivia Wilde. I mean, teen movies are a dime a dozen, really. They all go through certain tropes. They all go through, like, certain kinds of character developments and stuff like that. And the movie that I'm reviewing today, Booksmart, is no different. Booksmart, directed by Olivia Wilde, is about two young girls who are about to graduate high school. Amy, played by Kaitlyn Dever, and Molly, played by Beanie Feldstein. These two girls are intellectual heavyweights. They have gotten great grades. One is valedictorian, and they are set to have great college careers after high school. But they realize the day before their graduation, they've made no memories for themselves other than studying and doing homework. So they both decide to crash a party from the most popular kid in school and to create memories before graduation. What I find interesting about Booksmart is that in this movie, it does character focus on work-life balance. It's really weird that they do this in a high school movie, but it's actually really well done here, where the characters realize that they spent so much time working and they didn't do any time living. This is one of the better ones to do it in this movie because it really shows these two characters who excelled in so many ways, but yet have this really glaring flaw that they have. They show it pretty starkly in the film as it's going, but it was interesting to see in this movie with how the characters are done in this movie. Now, these characters are good because of the performances of Dever and Feldstein in this movie. I think they carry this film very well. They both play characters with innate flaws that are very apparent as the film starts. And a lot of the things that happen in this film is interesting because it really plays on the fact about how naive they are about the life they've lived and the people that they know. A lot of this film is about discovery. It's not self-discovery, but discovery that they really mistaken who the people are in their lives at the time and how they've misjudged them. And it's a very interesting thing that they show in the film because usually what happens in these films is it's usually these supporting characters, the jocks, the burnouts, the druggies. They mischaracterize the main characters, but it's a role reverse in this movie because they have actually mischaracterized a lot of the people there that they have been going to school with, and in not a great way, honestly. Speaking of, some of the supporting characters are hilarious in this movie. I really want to highlight Billie Lourd as Gigi in this film. I think she does a very good job in this performance. I think she's hilarious in this. And I think the running gag and joke of this film, where she just appears out of nowhere in certain situations, even though she's done something absolutely crazy at certain points, well, I think it's just a funny joke that goes on throughout the entire film, and it makes it very entertaining when she shows up. Easily a highlight of the film. There's other supporting characters as well that are very funny in this. I don't think there is one supporting character I did not like. I think these are all well-done characters in this film, although stereotypical. The vast majority of them are stereotypical. But I think for the most part, these are characters that are really well-defined, but are all likable in their way. I need to also point out, since this is set in the late 2010s, there is a lot of people who are gay and lesbian, which I think is good. I think that's a very good thing in this movie. The one way I want to describe this film, and the way I'm going to describe it is going to seem like I am shortchanging it or I am being dismissive of it. I'm not really doing that because the way I'm going to describe it, I do it with affection. This is a female Superbad. Superbad was a film that I really enjoyed when I watched it in 2007 because it reminded me a lot of my high school years and the relationship I had with my best friend in high school at the time, and just how our lives were and how we interacted and how we acted, and just how that relationship was. And I feel this is the same thing here in this movie. I don't think either is better than the other. I think this movie would be a great double feature to pair with Superbad. I think both have innate strengths that are different from one another, but they all hold a specific core that I think really helps the film along and I think makes it as entertaining as it is. And it's that it's about this very personal relationship that you have in this very specific time and how meaningful it is at the time when it happens and the emotional feel that it has for you at that time. And Booksmart, I think, does that same great job that I think Superbad did in 2007. So honestly, if you want to watch this film, I would also say pair it with Superbad as well. Both are funny comedies about the same thing. Both are vulgar in their way. I think Superbad's a little more vulgar, but some of the things that are in Booksmart are pretty funny as well. So That's not bad. So yeah, I would say, like, if you really want to watch this film, I think you should. And if you like Superbad, you should watch it, but definitely do a double feature on this. And here are the footnotes for Booksmart. And my only footnote is that this film has one of my least liked tropes in teen movies, and that is adults who act like teens. I can't stand this trope. Even when I was a teen, I thought this was lame. I really hated this trope. One of the things that really did not make me like 10 Things I Hate About You as much as others did was all of the adults acted like teens in some sort of way. They all sounded like teens. They all spoke like teens. They all acted like teens. And I was like, oh God, why are we doing this? And this film has the same problem. Jason Sudeikis' character, who is a principal, acts pretty much like a teenager. The one cool teacher in the movie does some questionable things. She acts like a teenager as well. And I think some might excuse, well, they're around teenagers. Don't you think that's kind of the point? Like, no. No, the point of being the adult is to not act like a teenager. And it's kind of an annoying thing because in other instances that would be honestly creepy. Honestly is creepy most of the time. So for teen movies to have this trope in there, that's the cool adult, and that's like, no, that's the creepy adult. What are you doing? No, ew. I get sick and tired of that trope when I see it, and this has it, but it's not as bad as other movies that I've seen. So overall, I'm going to recommend Booksmart. I think this is a very funny comedy. I think it is actually a pretty heartfelt one as well. I like the performances from Beanie Feldstein and Kaitlyn Dever. I think this is very funny. And again, it is to me a female Superbad, but I'm not being dismissive about it. I think it actually works on that wavelength that Superbad had as well when it came out. Again, a movie that if you want to do a double feature, pair this with Superbad, have a great time. I think it's a hilarious film. I probably want to do that myself, actually. Watch Superbad and then watch this right after, just to have that nice little double feature in it. So overall, I'm going to recommend Booksmart. Very good movie. I really liked it. It's definitely something that if you want to have those high school memories again, and if you want to have those memories flashback, it's definitely a good movie. So check that out whenever you can. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at iamthewiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to. All right, so next week, we're going to have one episode, and that's for the 007 Debriefings. We're going to do a recap on all 25 films that we have seen. So check that out if you've been following us throughout that journey, or if you just want to know what the best films are, who the best Bond is, whatever. Check that out next week. That'll be the only episode we have for that July 4th week. The following week, Tuesday is going to be Betty Blue. Thursday is going to be The Handmaiden, directed by Park Chan-wook. And Saturday, I'm going to watch a film that I have heard great things about, but it's another one of these films that, are films that I think everybody has seen, but I haven't, because there are films that I have not seen because they're easy to find. And if I am ever in the mood to watch them, they are that quick to find, and I'll have no problem finding them. So I'm going to watch the 1983 comedy Risky Business, directed by Paul Brickman. This probably would have fit better on the teen side from this week, but oh well. I have yet to see this movie. Honestly, I've heard good things about it, but I'm looking at the reviews right now, and they seem kind of mixed. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. Well, Rotten Tomatoes is not, but IMDb has it at 6.8. That's pretty shocking. Wow. The only reason why I'm doing this film, honestly, is because the previous two films are basically sex-based, and this one, I guess, counts, but this also is coming to the Criterion Collection. So I'm trying to decide whether I actually want to give this a shot and probably purchase this. Okay, so for next week's episode, it is the 007 Debriefings recap. We're going to recap everything that happened in the past 25. We'll see and tell us what our favorites are from the series. Then on Tuesday, I'll be reviewing Betty Blue. Thursday will be The Handmaiden, directed by Park Chan-wook. And Saturday, Risky Business, directed by Paul Brickman. I am The Wiz, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.